Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Audrey. My husband and I live on a little homestead in South Carolina with our 8 children. Before I jump into my updated pantry tour, I want to address something that has come up a few times in previous pantry tours. Of course, it's only been about 3 comments out of thousands, but I still feel like it's something that probably ought to be addressed publicly. A few people have said things like, "Why would you put your pantry on the internet? You are just asking to get robbed." Listen, we live in a small, tight-knit community, and we genuinely care about each other. If there were to come a point when there were literally no groceries left to be had and people around us were going hungry, we would be the first to invite them in and share what we have. We do not have food storage in order to be the last remaining people in our community that's able to feed our family. And the whole purpose in me sharing our pantry publicly is to encourage others to do the same. The more people who are intentional about having food storage for their family, the better off we'll be when and if things get worse. So while I appreciate everyone's concern for my family's safety, rest assured, if we were to get in a truly dire situation, my family's pantry would be bare long before some YouTube stranger were to find the location of my house, because we would have already shared what we had with those around us. If this is the first time you've toured my pantry, I will link previous pantry tours below because I'm not going to go into what we use all of these items for in this video. I've done that in previous videos and you're welcome to go watch those. Now let's get into my pantry and see what changes we've made. We've got our extra large cans of corn up there, old-fashioned oats, Jiffy corn muffin mix, our favorite Asian sauces, barbecue sauce, peanut butter, lots of mayonnaise, smaller cans of corn, soy sauce, lots of salsa, pimentos, some of our favorite condiments such as Worcestershire sauce, Dijon mustard, regular mustard, ketchup, salad dressings. We were going to move some of our appliances from valuable pantry shelf space, but we decided these 2 are pretty heavy and we use them almost on a daily basis, so I decided to leave them. These 6-pound boxes of elbow macaroni were on sale for $3 a box at Sam's last month, so I got 4 of them. This Velveeta cheese, I know it's not real cheese, it has terrible ingredients, but it's really handy to have when we want a quick pot of macaroni and cheese and I don't have to worry about whether or not there's real cheese in the fridge. This is some of our rice and pasta. I'm sure to keep an eye on the expiration dates, such as these wild rice blends. These will be used up in the next 2 months, as some of them have a sell-by date of January or February. Back here we keep about a month's worth of onions at a time. We've got a box of croutons and some chips and pretzels. Back there in the back is our hydrated lime that we use to water glass our eggs. This is my very favorite extra large mixing bowl and some sweet potatoes that we'll be using next week for Thanksgiving. This is our favorite pancake and waffle mix. It's buttermilk pancake mix from Sam's Club. We go through about 1 a month, so I'm going to go ahead and dump all 4 bags into a 5-gallon bucket. Someone's been getting into our ramen noodles. There's my giant Amazon bottle of Cholula refill, some baked beans. We go through lots of applesauce, canned pumpkin, collard greens, curry paste, generic Rotel tomatoes. It's really easy to make homemade cream of mushroom and cream of chicken soup, but I still like to keep some in the pantry. We go through a lot of coconut milk for our favorite Thai and Indian dishes, canned corn, enchilada sauce, refried beans. My kids love black olives, artichoke hearts, green chilies to make homemade green enchilada sauce, crushed tomatoes, candied jalapenos, dehydrated celery, and some home canned tomato products. Back here we've got boxed brownie mix, breadcrumbs, a basket of pepperoni, and a nice stack of chocolate chips. Here are our home canned goods. We've got candied jalapenos, pickled banana peppers, pie filling, chicken stock, and a variety of jams and preserves. There are varying opinions about stacking your jars. I have been pressure canning for over 10 years. I've never had a seal fail. I know how to test my jars before we use them. I don't store them with the bands on, and everything that I've read says as long as you have a layer of cardboard in between, it's okay to stack them 2 jars high. Over here we have canned black beans and pinto beans, and this month I added some canned chicken. Raw packed pressure canned chicken is so easy and it's really convenient to have on your pantry shelf. I'll do another video soon explaining how to do that. I picked up another bag of our favorite Basmati rice. These are good on the shelf for a couple of years, not that these bags will last that long. Doing pretty well with our favorite Aldi brand Ritz crackers. This bag of all-purpose flour will be going in one of the bins below later this afternoon. My goal for the month of December is to get as many of these dried beans cooked and pressure canned and onto the pantry shelf. Up here we have bouillon cubes and broth base. Those are just great to have on hand for when you run out of home canned chicken stock or beef broth. I've got a case of tomato paste. I'd like to get a couple more. There's so many uses for tomato paste and it lasts for years. I've got a few bags of non-fat dry milk and a few boxes of salt. Popcorn, some Trim Healthy Mama ingredients, pancake syrup, and about 70 pounds of regular white sugar. That's probably close to a year's worth for my family. We have a lot of traditional spaghetti sauce and marinara sauce. We use it for, of course, spaghetti. When we make meatball subs, we use it as pizza sauce, and we even use it in some of our soup recipes that call for tomato juice or crushed tomatoes. It just adds a little extra flavor. Alfredo sauce is easy to make, but you need quite a bit of dairy, so it's nice to have some on the shelf that we can use to throw together some quick and easy fettuccine Alfredo. We love grits for breakfast. There's popcorn and some unsweetened coconut flakes back there. Some canning supplies and what's left of the tortillas that I buy every month. We go through about a case a month. There's 2 liters of olive oil back there. And we don't keep a whole lot of canned meat, but this is what we've got here. My favorite crumbled bacon, some pulled pork, tuna, chili meat, and 1 can of chicken left from when I made buffalo chicken dip a few months ago. Some Cholula and graham crackers. I purchased this lard at Walmart. I'd like to start buying lard instead of Crisco, but this one has some questionable ingredients, so I intend to contact our local butcher after the holidays to see about starting to acquire lard from our local butcher that I can render and pressure can myself. Down here we've got a box of Oolong Tea, what's left of the winter squash that I grew in the garden this past year, and some granola bars that my kids use in their school lunches. Once those are gone, I won't be purchasing any more for next month, and I'll explain that in a little while. There's distilled white vinegar and a couple boxes of rice checks waiting to be used in some Christmas goodies. These buckets contain hard white wheat that we get from Azure Standard. There's some more soft wheat and hard white wheat down there. And these bins on the floor, if you haven't seen my other pantry videos, are what we use to store and rotate our bread flour, all-purpose flour, beans, and rice. I'll link the containers below. Some of you may think I'm crazy for what I'm about to say, due to the fact that we're in the midst of food shortages and a supply chain crisis. But keep in mind, we are a homesteading family and we produce a lot of our own food. Let's say you have a goal of storing a year's worth of food in your pantry. It's really important to do an occasional challenge where you don't go to the grocery store for an entire month. I'm not going to restock anything in my pantry for the entire month of December. I really want to see what kind of meals I can plan using the items we already have in our house and seeing how much of each item we go through. Now, I did a similar challenge in the month of October, and it was called our food storage challenge, but that was really kind of this challenge in reverse. It was more about seeing what meals that I naturally make on a regular basis, but I was still going to the grocery store regularly, and I was just keeping track of how much of each item we use for each recipe, and it was giving me a better picture of what I might want to add to our food storage. but this will give me a better picture of what we would use out of our food storage if all of a sudden grocery store shelves were bare tomorrow. It also helps force you into menu planning creativity. I don't know about you, but I oftentimes get in a rut when it comes to planning our menu. But there is great benefit to sticking with a general master supper menu when it comes to planning food storage. I already have my wheels turning with regards to what my family eats for breakfast on a regular basis. My kids typically have eggs or eggs and toast or eggs with a tortilla every morning. About once a week, I'll make a big pot of oatmeal, and then about once a week on the weekends, they'll have pancakes or waffles. This challenge is going to force me into being intentional. We need to be eating grits more often. I need to be rotating through eggs, oatmeal, grits, muffins, pancakes on a regular basis to make sure nothing in our pantry is just sitting there going unused. So for the month of December, all of our breakfasts, lunches, and dinners will be made using what we already have in our house. By December 1st, I'll make sure I have a thorough inventory of everything that we have on hand. Then I will do an updated inventory on the last day of December, and that'll give me a clear picture of what we use on a regular basis. During the winter months, of course, our menu changes in the summer months, so I plan on doing it again sometime in the summer. One thing I'm really curious to see is how much flour and bread baking products we go through in a month where everything we eat is only what I've made from scratch. It's one thing to make our own bread, but it's a different story when you're talking about tortillas, bagels, hamburger buns, hot dog buns, everything. It's also going to take a lot of planning on my part. Think about it. If you had no more access to a grocery store, let's just say for one full week, it would take a lot of planning to make sure if you are finally utilizing all those dried beans in the bottom of your pantry, or your family was counting on your homemade bread for lunches every day, you'd have to really plan out your daily schedule to make sure that you made time for those homemade goods. All right, let me know in the comments below if you've ever done anything like this before, trying to figure out how much your family is using from your food storage on a monthly basis. Also, I'm curious to know if you have food storage for your family, how did you determine exactly how much you need or how much you were going to store per person or for a certain amount of time? If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and be sure and subscribe so you're notified when I publish videos in the future. Thanks for watching.